Alright guys, what is going on guys? It's Hybrid here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys 5 tips and tricks that I think will help you guys in your gameplays. Just a couple of things that I thought were less commonly known, and I thought I'd share them with you guys to see if maybe I could help you guys out in your Apex Legends games. So the first tip is going to be with the Mastiff shotgun. Most of you may know that the Mastiff was recently converted into floor loot after being in a care package, and the Peacekeeper took its place. Now the Peacekeeper got a huge buff, and the Mastiff got a huge nerf. A lot of people are saying that the Peacekeeper is insane now. Obviously, it always was, but they're saying that the Mastiff is not consistent and that it's not good anymore. And I tend to disagree. I still prefer the Eva, but the Mastiff is still a really solid shotgun. It's very consistent if you're up close. You're always going to be hitting high damage numbers. If you're actually in their face and you're in shotgun range, you'll almost always hit high damage numbers. Even when you go medium range, you're still hitting for 70, 50, 50. Those are high damage numbers. Now the tip I have for you guys is actually going to be how to control this gun off drop, because it is the most common place you're going to find it is off drop, off spawn with no bolt, and it's very, very slow. It takes very long to shoot in between bolts, but the easiest way to keep track of how long you have to wait is to listen to the click. Every time it makes that click, you're ready to shoot again. Now this tip can be used to actually time your shots, so you're not going out there and shooting blind, clicking too soon. And if you click too soon, you're going to end up missing your timing and you're going to miss your shots. But if you're worried about the timing, you're listening for that click, if you don't have a bolt off spawn, you can still kill people, you can still make some plays. This doesn't work with shotgun bolts because it makes it faster, but if you find this gun off spawn, that is the easiest tip I can give you guys to help you when you're using the Mastiff off spawn. The second tip I've got for you guys is going to go along with controlling recoil. Now most of you already know that controlling recoil is how you win fights. Guns have a kick, they go up, left, right, whatever. Some guns have more kick than others, and being able to control this is going to be the difference between hitting all your shots and missing all your shots. We all know that if you counteract the recoil on a gun, you'll be able to hit all your shots. LSAR, for example, up, left, right, right. So if you want to control that, you got to do the opposite. You do down, right, left, right. Down, right, left, right, and you're going to hit all your shots. But how does that work when you're at farther range? It becomes a little bit more difficult. Still pretty easy to hit right there. Go any further than that, it becomes a bit more difficult. Find you're missing more shots. Now, the tip that I have for you guys today is actually going to be to strafe in your recoil. This is very useful with weapons that have stronger horizontal recoil like the L-Star or the Flatline. Now if you strafe into your recoil, you mirror that recoil pattern. So if you got to pull down right, you want to strafe left. If you got to pull down left, you want to strafe right. So in our example, we're going to pull down right, strafe left, we're going to counter all that horizontal recoil, and we're going to hit a lot more shots on target. Look at that, almost a one clip. I mean, as far as one clip goes, it was almost, what, 10, 15 bullets to hit that? What you're doing here is you're counteracting the horizontal recoil with your strafe, and you're counteracting recoil with your mouse, so it's a lot easier to pull this off and hit these targets from far range. Very useful when you're using guns that have horizontal recoil. Same thing works with the Flatline. Same concept, strafe into your recoil, and it'll be a lot easier to control when you're farther away. The next tip I've got for you guys is actually going to be with the Prowler and the Hemlock, the 2 burst weapons in Apex Legends. Those of you might know that both of these guns are pretty strong, and you can control their recoil by pulling down on them. But what you don't know, I'm sure, is that the Hemlock actually has a little bit of a trick that makes it just a little bit better than the Prowler. Now with the Prowler, you have to pull down on your entire burst. If you don't, you're going to be missing shots. However, if you're pulling down your entire burst, you're going to hit all your shots. Now the Hemlock, you only have to pull down initially. When you first fire that first bullet, you pull down, and then you don't have to do anything else. That's it. Pull down once, you're hitting all headshots. Now this is very useful because if you use this technique, you can actually two-shot with the Hemlock. Now I'm not saying you're going to hit all your headshots, but what I am saying is that it's easier to control, right? You got to pull down all the time when you're shooting the Prowler. However, with the Hemlock, you only got to pull down once. And so you have a bit more room to adjust your aim, and it's a little bit easier to control the recoil. So consider that when you're picking between these guns, and you might find that you might like one more than the other because of that reason. The next tip I have is going to be for you Loba mains. So those of you who don't know about bunny hopping was a technique that you could do earlier in the game's life cycle that would allow you to heal while moving faster. It's still a little bit useful. You can still gain a little bit extra momentum, you know, get around a wall or something. while you're healing. Still useful, but we're not talking about bunny hopping for healing. We're talking about bunny hopping for using Loba's Q. Loba's Q is very dangerous to use because you're very immobile and easy to hit when you're using this Q. So what you can do if you're Loba is you can actually throw your Q out and bunny hop, make yourself a little bit more mobile, harder to hit, and it will help you when you're trying to get away in certain situations. Now you can either throw your Q and then bunny hop, or you can be bunny hopping when you throw your Q. I prefer to be bunny hopping and keep the momentum going, throw it and then slide, and then use that bunny hop to keep you mobile, to keep you from getting hit, make you a hard target to hit. So my next tip is going to be 2 tips in 1. We're going to be talking about Caustic and Revenant. Now Revenant's Q ability just got buffed. It lasts a pretty long time, and what you can actually do with it is you have just enough time to hide behind it and pop a Phoenix. If you're in the open and you're trying to maybe have some cover, it's a very situational tip, but it definitely can be useful if you use it right. Enough to pop a heal, maybe trick somebody, throw them off, and get a heal off. Same thing applies to Caustic. You shoot his barrel, you pop a Phoenix, you've got full cover, you've got cover around you. This is more useful for Caustic than it is for Revenant, but either way you have enough time to pop a Phoenix. Either way, any type of heal you want, you can pop it. Just enough time for you to get back into the fight, to have a bit more cover in a sticky situation. So the next tip is going to be a couple of tips in 1. We're going to be talking about advanced movement techniques that you can employ in your games to keep you mobile, because in Apex Legends, staying alive is not only about hitting your shots, but it's also about being hard to hit. The first technique is going to be wall jumping. Fairly straightforward to do on mouse, a little bit harder to do on controller, but I'm going to show you guys ways you can do it on both input methods, so stay tuned for that. For wall jumping, very straightforward. You're going to want to slide, jump, and then in the moment you hit the wall, you're going to aim yourself at the wall, and then the moment you touch that wall, you're going to hit your jump key again. Now I would recommend binding your jump key to scroll wheel down. However, you can do this with spacebar, and then you're going to bounce off of the wall and you direct yourself with the movement keys. So again, you slide, jump, let go of everything in the air. You don't want to be holding anything in the air. The moment you hit that wall, you turn yourself towards the wall, you hit that wall, jump off of it, and then use your movement keys to direct yourself in any direction you want to go. You can use this to gain a little bit of movement advantage, momentum that you can use against an opponent. Maybe you're trying to run away, maybe you're trying to get behind cover, maybe you're trying to maybe you're facing this wall, right? And you're trying to get up onto this thing in a way that's unpredictable. Bam. You just skip the climbing animation, you don't have to worry about climbing it anymore. You can also do this on walls to skip climbing animations. You'll see AC do this a lot. Then you don't have to go through the animation of climbing. So for controllers, this tip is fairly straightforward as well. A bit easier if you have a scuff. Not impossible if you don't. If you run a regular PS4 controller, you can still do this. But what I recommend is aiming yourself closer, like towards the wall, instead of keyboard and mouse, where you can actually do this number in the air. You can't really move that fast when you're in the air. So the best tip I could recommend for you is aim towards the wall when you're doing it, and you'll get a lot better momentum piece off of it. So if you don't have a scuff, what I would recommend doing is going in your button layout, changing some button layouts, because the idea behind this is that you want to be able to crouch, jump, and aim at the same time, right? And this is useful in more situations than just one, right? It's not just for bunny hopping. Being able to slide, aim, jump, and move all at the same time is going to be crucial for having that quick whip reaction time. So once you've done that, again, same concept, you slide, you jump onto the wall, and then in the moment of impact, you press your jump button. And then you direct yourself. You don't actually have to look in the direction you're going because it takes a while to aim. You literally just jump off the wall and you can do it like that. So the next movement technique we're going to be talking about is the infamous dizzy zipline bounce. I will show you a clip on screen if you haven't seen it, but basically the point of this is to keep you mobile and harder to hit when you're going up zip lines, because zip lines are very easy to track people off of. You literally just have to track them up the zip line or track them down the zip line. Not very hard to hit. So what you're going to want to do for this is while you're holding, you're going to press E and hold E, and while you're holding E, you're going to jump off the zip line like this, but you're going to want to direct yourself 180 degrees by turning around. So turn around towards the zip line, and then very quickly you're going to want to do the same thing. You're going to want to spacebar again. And what this is going to do is this is going to send you back and forth on the zip line. And if you repeat this, you can actually catch momentum. Now there's a very fine rhythm and speed to it, and you can learn this by practicing in firing range, but basically the idea is to keep yourself mobile, and if you think you're going to be able to hit this when someone's going up a zip line, you're probably not. You might hit a couple bullets off of them, but it's better than actually frying them off of the zip line, and it keeps you mobile, and it keeps them really confused and also probably intimidated that they're seeing this kid do this weird movement tech all the way up a zip line. Now on controller, this is a bit more difficult to do. In fact, as of recording this video, I didn't find out a really good way to do it more than 3 or 4 times up the zip line reliably. So what I'd recommend for you guys is if you want to stay mobile while you're on a zip line, start strafing around the zip line while you're moving, and that will mean your character will actually spin around the zip line, and it'll make you a little bit more difficult to hit. Again, it's not the most useful technique on a controller because you just simply can't press the inputs fast enough. And if you know someone who can, they're probably goated, and you should probably watch how they do it, because even with me playing on controller, you'd have to turn your sense up super high, and it's just not really worth it. So you're better off keeping at the sense you're at and doing a spin around the zip line, and that's going to give you some extra momentum and make you a little bit more difficult to hit. So the final 2 tips I've got for you guys as far as advanced movement goes is going to be the zipline bounce and the zipline hop. Now the zipline bounce is pretty easy to do. You want to stare at the zipline that you want to do this on. You look at it, you press E, and then you spam your jump, right? So in my case, it's scroll wheel down. I would recommend it if you haven't. It's a lot easier to do with scroll wheel down than it is spacebar, but it's not impossible. So E, and then you spam your scroll wheel down, and it'll actually launch you upwards. And you can use this to get on top of certain things. You can use it, like for example, you could use it on the supply ship to get up on another level. It's very situational, but if you use it right, you can definitely get an advantage on somebody who's not expecting you to do an advanced movement technique. And then zipline hopping is one that you've probably seen a lot of people do. There are multiple different ways to do this. When you're going across a zipline, you're very vulnerable. Anybody can track you just by looking and doing this. They track you all the way across a zipline, you're dead. You don't get to move where you need to move. However, you can actually counteract this by doing one of 2 things. Now, either you can get on the zipline and you can jump and alternate between E and jump, right? Your interact key and your jump key, and you stay mobile on the zipline, or you can add a serpentine into it, and you can do a left or right type movement. And this keeps you mobile as well as left and right. So this is pretty much impossible to hit. Most players will barely even try to hit you on this unless they have a really good shot or they're very confident about themselves. And you can use this to really make it a lot harder to hit when you're trying to run away on a zip line. Highly recommend you incorporate this into your zip lines. On controller, this is a little bit harder to do. Obviously, again, I would not recommend trying to do the bounce, the serpentine bounce, as it's a bit more difficult to do. It's not impossible, but it's a bit more difficult. You can still do it if you want to. But an easier way to do it is to just do the jump square, X square, X square. This is going to give you the up and down motion and make you a little bit harder to hit for people that are trying to track you across the zip line. So that's all the tips I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the video and you found them useful. If you did find any of them useful, consider dropping a like on the video and comment down below if you think I missed something or you have something to add on any of these. Let me know which ones you normally use, or if you're going to use these in your gameplays. I'd love to hear your feedback, and maybe, just maybe, you might end up helping out somebody in the comment section just like you. If you want to see more gameplays like this, guys, I do upload Apex Legends every single week on my channel. Consider subscribing with notifications on. I upload every single week Apex Legends content. And if you want to see stuff like this live, I do stream at twitch.tv/hybridify_. Drop a follow, go check stuff like that out. Stream 4 to 5 days a week. I'm making content on all kinds of social medias. All my links will be in the description if you guys want to check those out. Thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.